Incredibles 2 crushes animation record with $180 million. This image released by Disney Pixar shows a scene from Incredibles 2 in theaters on June 15. Disney, Pixar via AP, Los Angeles, AP, the combined powers of superheroes. The Pixar brand-ended draft of family-friendly films helped Incredibles 2 become the best animated opening of all time, the biggest PG-rated launch ever and the 8th highest film launch overall. Disney estimated Sunday that the film earned $180 million in its first weekend in North American theaters, far surpassing industry analysts' loftiest expectations, which had the film pegged for a $120 to $140 million debut. The previous animation record holder was another Pixar sequel, Finding Dory, which had a $135 million launch in 2016. It was Disney's live-action, Beauty and the Beast, that held the record for a PG debut with $174.8 million in 2017. You don't get to this level of opening without appealing to everyone, whether you're a fan of animation, superheroes or just out to have a good time and want to see a good movie, said Kathleen Taft, the head of distribution for Walt Disney Studios. We had a film that had something for all ages. According to Disney, adults made up 31% of the audience, families accounted for 57% and teens 11%. Incredibles 2 comes 14 years after The Incredibles, which at the time boasted one of the biggest animated openings ever, and picks up right where the first film left off with the superhero family. Brad Bird returned to write and direct the sequel, which has been overwhelmingly well received by both critics and audiences. "This is one of the biggest overperformances I've ever seen," said Comscore senior media analyst Paul Dergarabedian. To overperform by $40 million means everyone underestimated the power of animation to draw huge audiences. Incredibles 2 is also the second biggest ever June debut, behind only Jurassic World, $208.8 million, which has its own sequel preparing to take a bite out of the box office when it opens in North America next weekend. It knocked Ocean's 8 to a distant second in its second weekend in theaters with $19.6 million. Ocean's 8 still managed to outdo the non-Incredibles newcomers, like the R-rated comedy Tag, also a Warner Bros. release, which opened in third place with $14.6 million. Solo, A Star Wars Story, fell to fourth place with $9.1 million and Deadpool 2 rounded out the top five with an additional $8.8 million. Sony's Superfly remake landed in seventh place in its first weekend with $6.3 million, and Vertical Entertainment's Gotti, starring John Travolta, opened outside of the top 10. Playing in 503 locations, the long-delayed film, which boasts a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, took in $1.7 million. After a slow early June, the box office overall is now running around 6% ahead of where it was last year and will likely continue that growth next weekend when Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom launches stateside. Estimated ticket sales for Friday through Sunday at U.S. and Canadian theaters, according to Comscore. Where available, the latest international numbers for Friday through Sunday are also included. Final domestic figures will be released Monday. 1. Incredibles 2, $180 million, $51.5 million international. 2. Ocean's 8, $19.6 million, $19.3 million international. 3. Tag, $14.6 million, $1.4 million international. 4. Solo, A Star Wars Story, $9.1 million, $5.2 million international. 5. Deadpool 2, $8.8 million, $9.8 million international. 6. Hereditary, $7 million, $5.7 million international. 7. Superfly, $6.3 million. 8. Avengers: Infinity War, $5.3 million, $3.1 million international. 9. Adrift, $2.1 million, $453,000 international. 10. Book Club, $1.9 million, $730,000 international. Estimated ticket sales for Friday through Sunday at international theaters, excluding the US and Canada, according to Comscore. 1. Jurassic World: Fallen Kingdom, $173.6 million. 2. Incredibles 2, $51.5 million. 3. Ocean's 8, $19.3 million. 4. A Strong Insect Crossing the River, $9.9 million. 5. Deadpool 2, $9.8 million. 6. The Accidental Detective 2, $6 million. 7. Hereditary, $5.7 million. 8. Solo: A Star Wars Story, $5.2 million. 9. Race 3, $4.8 million. 10. Avengers: Infinity War, $3.1 million. Universal and Focus are owned by NBC Universal, a unit of Comcast Corp. Sony, Columbia, Sony Screen Gems and Sony Pictures Classics are units of Sony Corp. Paramount is owned by Viacom Inc. Disney, Pixar and Marvel are owned by the Walt Disney Co. Miramax is owned by FilmYard Holdings LLC. 20th Century Fox and Fox Searchlight are owned by 21st Century Fox, Warner Bros. and New Line are units of Time Warner Inc. MGM is owned by a group of former creditors including Highland Capital, Anchorage Advisors and Carl Icahn. Lionsgate is owned by Lionsgate Entertainment Corp. IFC is owned by AMC Networks Inc. Rogue is owned by Relativity Media LLC. Follow AP film writer Lindsay Barr on Twitter at http://twitter.com/lidbarr. Copyright 2018 The Associated Press. All rights reserved. This material may not be published, broadcast, written or redistributed. Advertiser content.